So this month, we are looking at the idea of living from and in our true power, our true divine power, our spiritual power, standing strong and tall and living forth from that power. And we've taken the word power, which coincidentally, nicely has 5 letters, and we've made it into an acronym for every Sunday this month and looked at qualities that when we embrace them, when we live from them, that's what causes us and helps us stand in that power. So we've looked at P already for passion and purpose. We've looked at O for oneness. And if I know my alphabet, which I think I do, today would be W. See, you know yours as well. Good. Today would be W, standing for holy, completely with the W, holy, holy, with an H, worthy. That's where we were going to go today. But I am going to invoke minister's privilege right now to change my mind. Minister's privilege to rearrange the alphabet a little bit. And instead of doing holy, holy, worthy today, we're going to bring the E forward to talk about evolution. Next week, we'll get to holy, holy, worthy. So we're just going to misspell power a bit this month. Because it's important this morning that we walk the evolutionary road together. That's what we're going to do this morning. So I wondered, has anyone ever ridden, I'm sure we have, probably all of us have ridden a roller coaster. Yes? Ooh, yeah, I'm not a big fan of roller coasters myself, but I have ridden a couple of them. One of them even back in the 70s with my first husband, a long time ago, that was called the American Eagle. I can't recall what amusement park it was in, but at that time it was supposedly the largest, the tallest roller coaster in the world, and it was insane. It was insane. I almost lost my lunch, but I didn't, so that was good. But if you ever ridden one and reached out and grabbed the hand of the person next to you, like, and hung on for dear life? Yeah. Or how many of you, we're gonna date ourselves here, but how many of you grab the hand of someone next to you that you may not even have known when Glenn Close came up out of the water in Fatal Attraction? Do you remember that? How many of you remember that? I jumped in the lap of my girlfriend who was I was with a friend, and I literally jumped in her lap when that happened. Right. Evolution can be scary that way as well. And sometimes we need to hold on to someone's hand when we're ready to take an evolutionary leap. So I want you to take somebody's hand right now. Just take somebody's hand. I want you to look at them, and I want you to say, I got you. I got you. I got you. All right, you can keep holding if you want, or you can let go, whichever. A new relationship may have just been created right here in this room. So I want to begin with a passage from a great book called Evolutionary Enlightenment by Andrew Cohen. Powerful book about the whole idea of moving up the evolutionary scale, moving to the next iteration of who we came here to be and who we're meant to be. It's a beautiful book. I highly recommend it. And there's a passage out of it. It's kind of long, but it's so rich and yummy and perfect for us this morning that I want to share the whole thing. Those of you who might have the book or want to get the book and want to know what page this is from, it starts on page 204. And it goes like this. When we are talking about pushing out our edge, and isn't that what evolution is? Pushing out the edge. And isn't that what we've been talking about this month, even and last month when we discussed our what? Our badass selves, right? That was pushing out the edge. All right, so when we are talking about pushing out our edge, there's always going to be an element of enormous risk. Evolution is a messy process. There are no guarantees. If you want to evolve, you must have the spiritual confidence, heroic will, tenacity, courage, and commitment to fearlessly engage with the evolutionary process until something profound, mysterious, and extraordinary happens that cannot be undone. I love that sentence. There's more to this quote, but I have to say that sentence again because it is our anchor sentence for this morning. If you want to evolve, you must have the spiritual self-confidence, heroic will, tenacity, courage, and commitment to fearlessly engage with the evolutionary process until something profound, mysterious, and extraordinary happens that cannot be undone. When you are living this fully and fearlessly in the evolutionary passion and perspective of the authentic self, then something extraordinary does begin to happen. The unmanifest potential of the near future flickers into awareness and even in brief moments seems to actually become manifest in the present moment. And when we meet others in this same heightened state of consciousness, look around, they're there. You just held hands with one of them. Together we can see and feel, directly cognize, and intuit a compelling future that is possible to create here and now in the present moment, not as a remote ideal, but as the most screamingly imminent potential imaginable. Finding each other. Finding those individuals who feel as passionately as we do about the evolution of consciousness and culture liberates and uplifts our spirits and gives us the inspiration to take bold steps we otherwise might not have the courage to take. This morning, my friends, we are going to take a bold step into our evolution, a gigantic leap into our evolution. Since June, here at CLF, there has been a team of leaders visioning. Visioning, for those of you who don't know what this spiritual practice is, it is a beautiful, prayerful, meditative experience where we do our best to set aside what our brain thinks, and we dive deeply into what the source of our being, what spirit has in mind for us, individually, as a community. So since June, before I came back from being gone after our beloved Lonnie's transition, a group started visioning, led by Reverend Sherry McCreary. And when I came back, after being off, I joined the visioning. We've been visioning ever since, up until last Wednesday, and we will continue. Our creative living circles, our CLF circles, many of them have been visioning. Our boards have been visioning. And there is a consistent message that has been shared in those visionings. There have been a lot of things in the visionings. There always are. There's different ideas and different thoughts. And one thing we always get, ever since we've visioned here, which has been for 20 years, we always get trees and the color purple. We always get that. We haven't quite yet figured out exactly what those mean, but we always get those. But in addition to that, in this series of visionings, there has been a consistent singular message. And I want to read to you some of the words that have come out of the visioning of this core group that I've been a part of. Change is coming. Do not be afraid of it. Embrace it. It will lead you to something wonderful. Allow spirit to surprise. Live in the unknown. Change is good, healthy, and will make CLF stronger. That's been Spirit's vision for us. And not coincidentally, that has been my vision for us and my vision for me. And so I have come to a very important evolutionary decision for myself and for our community. And it is born out of this visioning. It is born out of my heart's desire for myself and for this community. What I believe is that your current leader, that would be me, has taken this community as far as is hers to take it. I have spent 21 years here, loving almost every minute of it. Not quite every minute, but almost every minute of it. And my heart knows that it is now time for me to step aside. We're breathing. We're breathing. And to let someone else, amazing and fantastic, take the lead and to take this community into that change. This is the right thing for our community, and it is the right thing for me. And we're breathing. So this has, of course, come in part, because of Lonnie's transition. I would be lying to you if I said that wasn't a part of it. Everything that he did here, and he did so many things, he had his fingers in everything, and he made sure so many things happened that are beautiful and just gorgeous. But what he did here paled in comparison to what he did for me, personally. He was my rock, my anchor. As someone said in first service, he was the wind beneath my wings, and now I'm having to flap all by myself. And that's true. I'm not all by myself. I have you. I have an amazing support system, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and I am so grateful. And doing ministry without him is not the same. And to be 100% authentic and 100% real and transparent, I don't want to do it anymore without him. And this is not a new decision. I want you to know that. He and I had been talking for a while. Michele, how much longer do you think you're going to do this? How much longer? And we hadn't come to any conclusions or any decisions, but I knew it wasn't forever. I have some other things I want to do. But his transition, and coupled with the visioning for this church, has made me realize that now is the time. So again, breathe. I know this is bringing up a lot. It's bringing up a lot for me. It's bringing up a lot for all of us. I am very aware and sensitive to the fact that we have not yet healed over the loss of Lonnie. You lost him too. I'm not the only one who lost him. I know that. And I also know in my heart of heart that now is the time for me to step aside. I know that. I know that it is the best thing for me, and I know it is the best thing for this community, which, in case you don't know, I love with all of my heart and always will. So in a moment, I know I'm going to open it up and invite if anyone has anything they want to say. We'll just take a couple of minutes to do that. But before that, I want to say something else, but I have to think what it was. I know. I do want to be available to you. I want to be available to talk to you. I want to be available to answer questions. I want to be available to love with you and pray with you and cry with you and whatever it is we need to do. And to that end, we have created what we're calling conscious completion circles. By the way, I'm not leaving today. This is not my last Sunday. But we're doing conscious completion circles. And there's one even scheduled for tomorrow evening at 6:30. There's our sign-up sheets in the bookstore. If you want to be in one, we're only going to have 15 people in each one so that we can have some intimate, personal time. They'll last about an hour and a half, no longer than that, less if we don't need to take that much time. And you can ask, you can talk, you can cry, you can be mad at me, you can whatever it is that you need to want to feel and share with me, I am available to do that with you, with my heart totally and completely open to you. What we ask is that you do sign up and that you don't just show up, because you can't, we're not going to take walk-ins because it'll probably be full. And so if you show up, then there's going to be more people than we can have in this intimate space. If the times that we have selected and have sign-up sheets for don't work for you, then put your name on a list and we will create more circles. That's my commitment to you. And I ask I ask a commitment from you. I'm going to ask a couple of them, actually, but the one I'm going to ask right now is, if you have questions, if you wonder what's going on, if you want to dig deeper into whatever, please ask me. May I speak absolutely candidly? Good, thank you. And given that I got very bold last month and we were our badass selves, so I'm going to say this. Please talk to me. Do not make shit up. Okay? Talk to me. All right, so everybody breathe. We've got a couple microphone runners. If anyone wants to say anything. Oh, it's right there. Sorry. Yep. It might need to be turned on. I'm not sure. So is there anybody? Yes, Susie, right up here in front. Can you get her? Yes, thank you.
Is it on?
Yes,
It's on.
it is.
I have to say, I was planning on coming to this service, but I was on my computer this morning, and I saw the 9:30 service, and I heard, and I'm like, whoa, do I want to come again? Can I hear this again? And then I just want to share with you how you're always teaching. I got the message, breathe, Susie, just breathe. I got the message, ground yourself, go home. And I heard loud and clear, get your butt in church, sit in that church, don't bail on your sister now. Be here to support you. And again, another powerful teaching, speaking your truth, but how truthful for all of us to listen to our wisdom, our intuition, to be bold, to be badass, and to be able to stand there in your power so eloquently and know what your next move is for you to be healthy, to be on your spiritual path, and to be Michele. And how wonderful our worlds would be if we listened, and when something just says this doesn't work anymore or it's time, we listen. So I so honor you. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. Joyce.
Michele, I've been here working with you now for 3 years, having been through very similar transitions and succession planning in my personal life, and you know how much I have learned from you. And I'm so proud of you, and I want this congregation to know that, the first third of life, the second third of life, and now the third full of life is huge for Michele. And you realize it's huge for CLF. So if Michele could, I know she's going to do it in her conscious circles, and it's not totally known, but you realize that CLF's message needs to get out nationally. And that's what our wisdom group has been doing. Sandy suggested we need to get her televised out to the nation. And she has these incredible AFP groups that, if you haven't been, you got to go. I can't tell you how much this is going to expand CLF's mission. So if you could just address a little bit about continued involvement. I know it isn't totally, but I'm in the university, and I'm a biggie in the university because I'm getting my doctorate here. So please share about the education piece and the fact that you're just not going away totally. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I still do, and I've gotten the blessing from our Board of Regents, which are unofficially. But yeah, I'm just saying I have your blessing, right? Board of Regents. Yes, thank you. You got to give it to me now, right? To stay as a faculty at Creative Living University. I love to teach. That is one of my passions. I love teaching. And so we're in the middle of a spiritual leadership and ethics class at the moment. If you're in that class, not to worry. It will continue as is. Absolutely, it will continue with me at the helm. And I would love to continue teaching here. This is how I've put it in my mind. Well, let me back up and say that Creative Living Fellowship is my spiritual home. It has been my spiritual home before I became the minister. I was front and center the first day this community met 24 years ago. So you are my spiritual home, and I don't want that to change. I just want to change my role. I want to move it from being a driving force behind everything, not everything, but being the driving force, to being a grounding presence. Does that work? Yeah. That's what I want. So I will stay teaching. I will be present here some, not every Sunday, because one thing I want to do and I need to do is rest. I need to rest. I need to continue to heal my heart, because my heart still grieves. I need space for that. And I have some other things I then want to do, including some amazingly powerful women's work that is what Reverend Joyce was referring to. I love the women's work I've been doing for the last 2 years. It's really impactful for me and impactful for women, and I want to step into that more fully. And I have a book in me. And I've always said, I don't want to write a book. No, but we don't need another book. We don't need another spiritual book. They've all been written. But I have one in me now. And I even have a title for it. It's called Conscious Living, Conscious Dying. And it's going to be about our journey that Lonnie and I took as a conscious couple for 27 years, almost 28, fully conscious, fully together, fully committed to each other, and what that looked like and how powerful and gorgeous it was. And then the journey we walked the last month of his life as we consciously made decisions together and talked about things that sometimes people don't want to talk about, but we did. And now the conscious, albeit different, relationship he and I have, because we still have one and he still shows up all the time in the craziest and sweetest and most surprising ways. I want to talk about all of that, and I think it's a book that the world could use, and it's a book that I want to write. Anything else? Yes, good, Kathy. And by the way, congratulations. Because I do actually get on Facebook now and again. And I saw it. Right. Oh, okay, okay, sure.
You know, CLF has been under an evolution for decades, as you know. It started with a group of about 15 people that met on Wednesdays. And Mary Jane, you were there, and John was there. There were a lot of us. And we really supported each other as we were all evolving. And we knew we wanted to share what we had discovered together. And CLF evolved from a group of about 15 people that decided we had a message that everyone needed to hear. And Michele was our first minister, and we were so delighted. So I understand the evolutionary process because we've all been living it. Yeah. And I am so grateful that you are going to continue this process and share with us as we continue to evolve. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being a founder of this church. Thank you. Yeah. Now, Kathy. I know. She's had time to think about it now. Yeah.
So I haven't been here in a couple weeks, and saw something this morning just said, you need to go today. And I almost didn't make it, and I was kind of late, and I usually am early. And anyway, so I said, I'm going, I got to go. So I'm glad I did. But this place and you have meant so much to me and changed my life in ways that you don't even know, that I haven't even told you. And I'm just so grateful for all of that. And I'm just very happy for you that you're making the decision that is right for you. And I know that we will all be here to support you and each other, and that we are going to be okay, and that what you are doing is what's best for you and for us. So yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody? Oh, good. Right here, Jeannie. Good. And we'll have time for 2 more after Jeannie. So if you want to speak, get your hand up.
So you know I got your back.
I do know that. Thank
and
you, my
now
friend.
You're going to get mine for a second.
Okay.
And we've got yours too. I look out and I see the tears, and know that if you need someone to pray with you or a cake, I'm here for you.
Or a cake is what she said, in case you didn't hear that. She makes the most beautiful and delicious cakes ever. Anyone else? And she does great prayer too. Yes, I see right back there. Yes. I said we could do 2 more. And so it looks like we've got them. All right.
Michele,
Okay.
it's been so great coming to finally meet you. I'm a person looking for a community of like-minded souls, and I found it here, and I listened to you quite a bit online, and I just have to say I'm thankful and grateful to have met you and look forward to taking classes with you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. We're glad that you're here. Catherine, and then Roger. I saw his hand, and then we're done.
Seriously? You're going to outdo me? I said it in first service, and I'll say it again. Michele, thank you for wearing such a lovely dress for the announcement. And I think what we will miss most of all, besides Michele, of course, are the shoes.
I like your shoes too. So I've said, I came to CLF looking for community. I stayed because of you, but now I have a home. And when I heard, my very first thought was, I'm out of here. And I'm going to ask and plead and beg of you as a family member that you not do that, because this is the time that our family needs to come together more than ever before.
Thank you, Roger. And don't sit down, because I'm actually going to ask you and all of our leaders, our spiritual life coaches, our ministers, our vision team, our boards, to come forward. We have some beautiful visiting ministers here with us today to stand and support, and I would love them to come forward as well. Wow, this is going to be full. Yeah. Colleen, come on over. Come on, I want us all on the stage. We can all fit. Just don't knock me off. Yeah. So I just want you to take a look at these amazing individuals up here who stand beside me, behind me, with me. They stand beside you, with you. Just take a look at this. And then, there is only one stepping out of that group. They are still here. All of them. Standing beside you, with us, for us. To serve, to support, to pray, to love. That's still an awfully big group. You're in good hands. And there's a beautiful process that's going to unfold to, how can we be out of tissues? That's not possible. Thank you. Yeah, first service used them up, right. There's a beautiful process that is just beginning, so we don't have details yet, but to unfold, to bring in an interim minister to support this community after I leave, and then there will be a process to bring in the perfect person as your next senior minister, and that will unfold over time. You will be continue to be supported and loved by this group, by me, by Source. All is good. All is good. Spiritual life coaches and ministers, I would like to ask you, and visiting all the visiting ministers who want to participate are invited to encircle the room. Leaders, stay up there if you're not a spiritual life coach or minister. If you would encircle the room. And in a moment, we're going to have them do a chamber of prayer, which is just to encircle us in prayer. But before they do, I want to give you a quote from a fairly recent movie, a remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. Crazy movie to be quoting at this time, but there was a great line in it. And the line said, "It is only on the brink that people will find the will to change. Only at the precipice do we evolve. This is our moment. Don't take it from us. We are close to an answer." This is our moment. Mine personally, yours personally, ours as a community. To listen again to Andrew Cohen's words, which were, if we want to evolve, we must have the spiritual self-confidence, heroic will, tenacity, courage, and commitment to fearlessly engage in the evolutionary process until something profound, mysterious, and extraordinary happens that cannot be undone. That is what is happening here if we let it. I invite us to let it. Would you pray, please?